Hi people, hi everybody. So you've just clicked on this video and you might wonder um, what the video is about. What this video is about, and with this strange title, how to build a constantly updated tweets file. And so the aim of this video is to use a bunch of Python scripts that are wrote in order to retrieve tweets from the Twitter API, but in a cool way, in an easy way, relaxed manner, and so on. Okay. So, what do I mean by constantly updated tweets file? Well, let's say I want to keep an eye on what Twitter say about a specific topic, which is represented by a string in the tweet. And let's say I work for United Airlines, so I want to retrieve all the tweets that contain the substring at United. Or, for example, I don't know, let's say I want to know what people think about the Tonight Show on NBC, so I want to retrieve all the tweets that contains hashtag Tonight Show. Okay, so basically what do I want is to retrieve all the tweets that contains a specific substring from the past week until whenever I want to stop my survey. Okay, so maybe until the next day, until the next year, until the next week, whatever. Okay, I decide. So the problem is that you might run into some difficulties if you want to do this. And why? Because in short, because of Twitter API limitation. Okay, so you need to know that Twitter is not a nice boy. Twitter Twitter do not allow you to do whatever you want. Okay, it's not like you go to Twitter and say, "Hey, pretty Twitter, will you give me all the tweets that contains hashtag something between the 1st of April 2009 and the 21st of December 2015, for example." No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so Twitter allow you to a maximum of 180 connections a quarter, so every 15 minutes. Second, Twitter allow you to download no more than 100 tweets per connection. And third, you have no access to tweets older than a week, which is really unfortunate. And finally, and maybe the worst one, Twitter is a sporadic stream, which means you're going to come across some problems if you want to keep a tweet file updated. Because, for example, let's say on this date I made a connection, okay, and I downloaded 100 tweets, okay, which is represented by this this orange rectangle, okay. And let's say a day later I made a connection right here, represented by this arrow, and I want to retrieve all these those tweets. I want to retrieve all the tweets that had been posted during this period. So now problems begin. Why? Because first, you have no idea how many tweets had been posted during this period. You have no idea. You cannot say how many tweets that have been posted. And second, you have to go through the API limitations. So, for example, as I mentioned before, you allowed to download tweets as pack of hundreds. So you might end up downloading the same tweets as the day before. Okay, so to sum all this up, there is a lot of complication, and that's what the video and that's what all the scripts I wrote are all about, to make this process easier to address this problem. Okay, and so the good news is that you only need you need only one little script, which is here. So let's copy and paste the script. Okay, so let's open a browser, paste our address. Okay, select all the things, we copy again, we open Spider, and we paste it. Okay, so here we go. How it was. Not that difficult, right? So now we need to first import some libraries. So let's do it. Okay, no errors. Everything is okay. And secondly, we need to set our working environment up. So we create a folder, a working folder. So I don't know, for example, retrieve tweets easily. Okay, don't worry if the folder doesn't exist yet, because with this command you're going to create it if it doesn't exist. Okay, so let's run those lines. Again, no errors. Great. So now we need to download the needed scripts. Okay, there are five Python programs. So just run these commands. Okay. Don't worry with this message. It's nothing. And now you have to open the hidden.py file and fill in with your appropriate credentials. So make sure you have you've built a Twitter application first, and we almost made it. Okay, but let's check if everything is okay. Here is our folder. So we have 5 Python programs, 5 scripts. So that's great. And now we want to execute these 2 Python scripts. Okay, everything is okay again. And here it is. Let's retrieve some tweets. So there are 2 major steps. Step 1, which consists on downloading tweets associated with a keyword. So very basic, very simple, which is represented by this schema. We're on this date, and we made a connection, and we download all the past week tweets about a topic. And okay, so that's for the step 1, so very easy. Oops. And then the step 2, which consists of appending new tweets to the previous one. So the step 2, we're on this date, okay, and we want to download all the extra tweets that had been posted. Okay, first, and second, we want to append those tweets into the file that contains the previous ones, and so create a big file that contains all the tweets. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, but I went through a technical issue, And so let's do the first step. So the first thing we asked for is to choose a keyword. So for example, let's say I want to retrieve all the tweets that contains hashtag Google. So I put this. So yes, don't forget that you cannot put the hashtag symbol in the search term variable. Instead, you must use this little substring %23. And so here you must select your language. Well, you must select the Twitter user account language. So EN stands for English, UFR stands for French, ES stands for Spanish, and so let's do it with English. And here is the file name. So you have to choose a file name under which you're going to save your results. So here let's do it with CSV Google Tweets, and the address is the path where you want to save your file, which contains the results. And with this line, we are going to retrieve all the past week tweets that contains hashtag Google, and then put them into a Python list called list tweets. Okay, so let's do it. Actually, I'm gonna choose ES for a technical reason. You're gonna see it. So as you can see, tweets are downloaded as pack of hundreds. So since hashtag Google is a trendy hashtag in Twitter, it may take a while. So I'm gonna pause this video and come back later when tweets will be downloaded. Okay, so tweets have been downloaded. We have access to all of this information about the downloaded tweets. So we know that we have downloaded 3499 tweets associated with the keyword hashtag Google. We have information about the date of the most recent tweet, the oldest tweet. Here it indicates that we have still 145 connection left to the Twitter API. And now we are asked whether we want to save our Twitter our tweets list into a pickle file. So for those who don't know what a pickle file is, well, it's a format which enables you to save a Python data structure, so that if you close your Python, if you close your Spider and reopen it later, you're able to reload your list if you previously saved into a pickle file. So it's very handy, and basically a pickle file is a Python data structure which is stored locally. So yes, very useful, very handy. So let's call it, let's say yes first. I want to save it into a pickle file, and let's call it pickle Google tweets. Okay, and that's it. So now let's check our file that we've just created. Okay. Excuse me for this. And so we have created two files, CSV Google Tweets and pickle Google Tweets. So here's the Python data structure, and here's a file that you can open with Notepad, for example. So here it is. Well, all these tweets that contains hashtag Google in Spanish language. And as you can see, accents are not displayed in the right way. So to address this problem, you have to tell Notepad to put the right encoding, so UTF-8, and here it is. You have a clean tweets data file that contains all the tweets all the past week tweets that contains the keyword you've specified, and there is a lot of metadata, and so I will not go into much details, but you have a lot of information. So now we are really happy with our tweets, but let's say that a day have passed and we want to append new tweets, the new extra the extra new tweets that had been posted during that day to the previous one. So we want to update this file. Okay, so remember again, we are here. So let's say a day has passed, we are here, and we want to retrieve all those tweets and then append those tweets into the pickle file that contains the previous ones. So that's the step 2, and let's do it. Okay, so let's clear it first. Yes, it's cleaned, and obviously you're going to select the same keyword, so Google, and obviously the same language, and the pickle file path. Make sure it's the right pickle file path, so this one, past, we called it pickle Google tweets. Okay, pickle Google tweets, because don't forget that we're going to update the pickle file. So step 2 is about updating a pickle file. So append new tweets, append the extra new tweets to the previous ones which are stored in the pickle file. Okay, so we have the pickle file path, so everything is okay, and now we're going to update this pickle file, and so let's do it again. Well, actually I'm not going to run the step 2 for now. I think it's better to pause the video for a while in order to have a better chance to see new extra tweets. So let's pause and come back later. So we're back again, and about 100 minutes have passed now, and thus we're going to run step 2. Okay, so there is a lot of information displayed. This extra downloaded tweet section is about information which is represented by this rectangle, this one. Okay, which represent the extra new tweets we've just downloaded, and that's it. Again, a lot of information about the most recent tweet, the oldest one, and so as you can see, we've downloaded 140 extra new tweets. And now here is the appending section. So the program is about to append those extra new tweets to the older ones. So the program is about to create to append those tweets to those ones, and then so create a big file that contains all of our tweets. Okay, so we ask whether or not we want to overwrite our picker file. I'm going to say no because I want to be able to compare the two files, and I'm going to call it pickle Google Tweets 2. Okay, and again, a lot of information is displayed. That's the summary all tweets section. So that's information about the whole the whole rectangle, this whole rectangle which represents all of our tweets. So we know that we've downloaded 613 tweets. Excuse me, that's difficult for me in English. And here is the export section. So now we ask whether or not we want to export all of our tweets into a CSV type file. So we're going to say yes, and we are going to call it CSV Google Tweets 2. Okay, so let's open it. Okay, and so that's my whole updated tweets file, again, which is represented by those big rectangle. And if you remember, this is my previous my older tweets, okay, which is represented by this little rectangle right here. And at this time, the most recent tweets was this one. Okay, so let's look for it in the big updated tweets file. And as you can see, line 116. So that is to say, there are 114 lines that have been appended, and that's consistent with our results because we know that we have downloaded 114 new extra tweets. So we are very happy, and that's pretty much it. So what can I say? Yes, feel free to browse the Python scripts. You know, I think that's the best way to learn a new language. And if there is something you don't know, or if there is something that doesn't work, feel free to email me. Here's my email, hansglick@gmail.com. And yes, that's pretty much it. So stay well, and greetings from Paris, France, and bye bye guys.